I'm Malcolm Van Delst, and this is an excerpt from The 9-Year-Old CEO. I'm not sure if it's a novel or a story or a novella. Last week, Beowulf, Sulien, and Arduino struggled to get their first game, Crash of Santa, out by Christmas. We met their production team in India, who scratched their heads about a character in the game named Jack Yeeted Pants. This is chapter 7, What's with all these launchers? And what's with all these launchers? A slim man in a red plaid shirt joined Parvinder and Meena at her desk. Beowulf, Arduino, Sulien, these are the principals of the company, yes? Yes, said Parvinder. Launchers inside a game? The slim man laughed, which caused Parvinder and Meena to giggle. They all stared at the artwork for the Beowulf launcher, which was a huge lo-fi grinning photo of Beowulf that he'd taken with his computer's camera. What no one on the Bangalore team knew was that Beowulf had taken the picture the night his parents were captured by the genie. He'd used an old laptop, the only computer he'd had at the time. He tried to fight the genie, failed, and fired up his laptop to make a plan. He was not going to give up. He launched Photo Booth and smiled a defiant, slightly manic grin. The Arduino launcher featured a photo of BWAS's coup, mid-move as she spoke. Her mouth was wide open and the back of her head blurred. A hand appeared to her right, and judging by its size, a child's, either Beowulf's or Sulien's. Lastly, the Sulien launcher was the best, or the most normal-looking one. It featured its namesake, standing with his hands on his hips and wearing a futuristic hard hat, black with silver attachments that looked like they might hold tubes or robotic arms if needed. Behind him, a locomotive approached on bramble-adorned train tracks. Just a sec, said Parvinder. He returned with a stack of binders. Here are the Bibles for these games, he said. Say what? The slim man, Rajesh blurted. Parvinder, unflappable and even-tempered, chuckled. Yep, there are 3 full MMO games inside Crash of Santa. Rajesh and Meena looked at each other and burst out laughing. We've also been asked to quote. Parvinder couldn't contain himself and doubled over on infinite, snort, launchers. Infinite, Rajesh's eyes popped wide. How? Meena began. BWAS didn't ask about the actual games, just the launchers. The 3 convulsed, igniting the whole production staff. Infinite launchers would crash Santa, all right, someone commented, and the whole room erupted again. Kim Kardashian, the whole internet. Ha ha ha, I kind of want to see it, a nerdy-looking guy with aviator glasses said. What would the infinite games even look like? Platformers? First-person shooters? Crash of Santa is multiplayer, right? It will be, said Parvinder, straightening from clutching his stomach. At this point, though, I mean for the Christmas release, it'll be single person. We're going to have work for the rest of our lives, another dev yelled, and they all cheered. Provided the whole enterprise doesn't crash, the whole room yelled together, even Parvinder, and that was the end of productivity for a good half hour. Bleep it, said Sulien to himself. He spoke out loud, but he was the only one in his office. If I can't make Santa fat, I'm going to make him ripped. He got to work making the hunkiest, most muscled-up Santa that ever existed. Well, except in pornos, but Sulien was too young to know about those. It makes sense, he said to himself. How can an overweight guy travel around the world in a sleigh, going up and down chimneys? Wait, houses haven't had chimneys for decades, and what about apartments? Flying around in a sleigh. Anyway, a muscled Santa is more realistic than a fat one. He could say fat and not offend anyone because he was alone. Hours later, he pushed a button on an old-fashioned device on his desk. Beneath the brown plastic and beige grill, computer technology powered the inner office phone, but both he and his brother liked the look of old 50s offices, so they replicated now and then. They also liked pressing buttons. Arduino, he spoke into the device. What's up? BWAS's kook voices came through the grill. Can I show you Santa? Sure, 1 sec. Arduino appeared in the door to Sulien's office. Her black hair was swept up in a bun, and her form-fitting dark gray suit, narrow skirt and hip-hugging matching suit jacket with 3/4-length sleeves, made her look like a woman from one of those 1950s McCall's patterns. The pussy bow on her pale pink shirt added a dash of present in female form. She couldn't resist the glam of patent leather for her kitten heels. Not that she had to dress office. She wore whatever she pleased. Like the boys, she enjoyed cosplaying the mid-century now and then. Let's see, she said, pulling off pink gloves, a shade or 2 lighter than her shirt. Sulien smiled, eyes growing wide. Those are cool. Yeah, but not very practical, she responded. Oh, she said, looking at Sulien's screen. Oh. Sulien turned towards her, beaming. Arduino nodded, a flush coming over her face. It's good, she stammered, reaching for a sheet of foolscap to fan herself. Not exactly Nick from Parks and Rec, but better, Sulien interrupted. How do you always know what to draw, even when the instructions I give you are so different? That's what design is, Sulien stated. Understanding the client. Flustered, Arduino interrupted. Well, okay, I'll let you continue. The 8-year-old gave a nod to his business partner, who hurried out, brow wrinkled, unsettled by her young charge's ability. He couldn't. No. He must have absorbed clues along the way without fully understanding. He'd made Santa into her ideal man. Parvinder and Meena reviewed the Bibles. The kid wants people to buy games in-game, said Meena, as Parvinder nodded. Full MMOs, she emphasized, and Parvinder nodded again. It's not possible. That's what they told Henry Ford about his monoblock 8-cylinder engine, Parvinder puffed. Meena looked at him. You believe that? What, that Ford was told? No, that we can make an MMO that supports infinite MMOs inside it. Parvinder looked thoughtful, then exclaimed, I will be Beowulf's Sorensen. Meena wrinkled her forehead. You don't know who that is? Parvinder chuckled. Cast Iron Charlie, the man responsible for making Ford's monoblock a reality, for bringing many of Ford's ideas to life. Anyway, we can do like Minecraft and provide servers. It's not that hard. Oh, Meena exclaimed. I won't really be a Sorensen. Magic is significantly less magic when you know how it's done, and providing servers is the easiest, most direct answer to this particular question, even if we don't get to do something, well, the scale will be glamorous. What will you quote Arduino? For the infinite launchers? No games? Meena nodded. Depends on how unique they want them to be. We can create a launcher, then replicate it with different images and text. The hard part will be what's going on in the background as each game loads its particular parameters, and we won't know those until we see each game's specs. Infinite games equal unlimited bandwidth, Meena quipped. Yes, said Parvinder. Yes.